All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. So here we are at the beginning of the month of June, and the market report numbers are out for the month of May. So we're going to go back and we're going to take a look at all that stuff and see what's going on, what's new, what's trending in the real estate in the capital region, Saratoga, Lake George, that whole area. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to cover it all on this video. So welcome back. And for anybody who's new, thanks for coming and visiting my channel. And if you would like what you see, go ahead, subscribe to the channel because we got all kinds of videos coming out all about real estate, the capital region. We cover, businesses and events, all kinds of stuff like that. So you don't want to miss out because we're coming out with a ton of videos. So subscribe to the channel and give it a like. Goes a long way to help the channel out here. But again, my name is Chris McMahon. I'm a local real estate agent right here in the capital region. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's start looking at some of these numbers here, the new stuff that is coming out here for the month of May, and see where things are trending, where they're going. So we're going to pop right on over here. We're going to share the screen a little bit. So we've got right here, this is for the capital region in general. Everything that the MLS is covering in our area, this is the statistics that we have for it. And so we're going to cover that first. And for those of you who's their first time watching this, we then do break it down to some specific areas. We can't cover every area in the capital region just because there's too many individual spots, but we do try and hit some of the key point ones. If there's an area that you're curious about, then I don't cover it, or you just got questions about even the area you covered is something that I didn't cover that you want to know, reach out, get a hold of me. My information is below, or even better yet, schedule a one-on-one with me. That'll be down below too. You can schedule a time where we can meet and talk, and I'll go over those numbers with you and bring up that information. Or I can even do your own personal little video as well. But let's move on here. We've got the number of listings. We're going to take out the sold listings here. This one gets a little bit cluttered up here, and the pendings for the time being. And we're just going to take a quick look here right now at active listings, total active listings right now. And again, this is for Queensbury. Whoa, let's switch that up. We want to do the whole market area. So give me 1 second here and we will bring that up. May 23. I was messing around before I hit record and we get so all right. So here we go. This is residential. This is covering the whole area. So let's kind of go in here and take a little look here at first. We're going to go with new listings. Now, new listings for April, we're at 1,000, and we're seeing a jump in the capital region for new listings by 314. So that's jumped up. Those are just new listings. That's not all the listings. It's new that's came out for that month. Come on over here. We're going to throw in the active listings on there, and that's a little bit higher. There's 1,540, and it actually did jump up slightly. As you can see, we've had a downward trend for about the last 7-8 months, it looks like here, and now it's kind of swung up and going in the other direction just slightly, but it's ticking up. But the new listings took quite a big jump right here for the capital region. Price right over here, average sales price. Now, if you watched the report last month, you remember there was a big jump. Here's that big jump that we're talking about here, from here up to here. It did drop a little bit, but not much. It really only came down about 2,000, so sort of leveled off a little bit, come down a little bit. But that's the active sales price, not the listing price, the sales price. And we're coming down here. Let's take a look at the number of solds. Number of solds for the month, that stayed fairly even, but did go up slightly. So there's a little bit more activity going on in the market. Summer months are here. People are out looking for houses. People want to move between the school year. A lot of families, they don't want to be moving during the school year. They want to try and do that in the summer and stuff like that. So we see some activity coming up with that, and it did jump up a little bit. The absorption rate right now is the amount of inventory or how amount of houses we have for sale here. We're at about a month and a half, and that jumped as well. It was just below a month and a half before. Now it's up a month and a half. Now, one thing I do like to cover here, sold to list ratio. This is an interesting number right here because you can see we've been down below 100% here. This is last year, okay, going all the way back to June last year. And if you're around, if you're looking to buy houses or you follow the market, you know it was crazy last summer. List to sell ratio, it was 103%. So if you had listed your house for $100,000, they were going over that at 103. But look over here, it had dipped down. So people listings, if you're listing at 100,000, people were generally getting less than what their list price was. But we are back up. Last month we were still below about a point and a half or 1.5%. Now we're just above 100% here again. So those houses that are going out there on average are selling for a little bit more than what they're listing for, as you can see right here at 100.6%. So that's the sold to list ratio for the capital region. Days on the market was going up. We're seeing that trend since February has been going down, and it went down again. Okay, another 5 days. So it's just over a month for the days on the market for that right there. Okay, so here we see everything is kind of summarized right over here. So this is year-to-date changes and everything like that. Average sales price is up 21% year to date. So that's from this month. Last year, you can see it's up 21%. Medium sales price is up 16%. I'm sorry, the average list price is up 20%. The average sales price is actually only up 1.37%, but still up. Days on the market is up a little bit. So we're seeing some changes on everything like that. The absorption rate is down a little bit from this time from last year. All right, so now that's the capital region in general. So we're going to jump off this for a second, and we're going to jump onto something else because I want you to see where most of the activity is going on, what price range is really moving in the capital region in general. So we're going to come over here and let's share our screen, but we're going to share to right here is this. Okay. So now right here, as you can see, we've got this broken down. 50,000 increments starting from 100,000 going up to 700,000. So the sweet spot. This is the area we just are doing the month of May. So if you look right up here, we're covering the month of May. But the number one spot here that we're seeing the most showings is this 200 to 250 range. That's getting the most showings for that month, just under 3,000 right there. Follow closely behind this is the 250 to 300 range. Okay, so 50,000. So basically, we're looking at it's not that much lower. So basically, we're looking at these houses, and this 2 to 300 range is getting most of the activity. Really getting a lot of showings right there. With the third coming in at the 150 to 200 range right there. It was slightly behind them. But those are our three top ones by far, as you can see. But the next one right in there is we're going to 3 to 350 range is coming in next after that one. Now, that's just the number of showings that people out there looking. So if you're in this range right here, if you think, your house is in the 150 to 300 range, something like that, that's getting a lot of activity right now. So, and if it's something that you're curious about what your home is worth, again, reach out and below. You can get in touch with me. The way I do a free home evaluation and also kind of give you some ideas. No obligation. Just kind of go over, what your house might be worth if you put it on the market or what your house is worth right now. I'll give you some tips and ideas of what you can do to help increase the value of that house as well. And that's free, no obligation. So again, reach out, schedule with me or get a hold of me if that's something that you're interested in. So this is where the hot area is on the market right now. Now we're going to bounce and we're going to go back over to where we just were before. It's screen share. And we're going to come back over the market summary. Let's share. Okay, we're coming back over here. I wanted you to see that before we get too far into it, so that's why I jumped over. But now we're going to come back over. We're going to hit a couple of our areas here. And the first area that we're going to hit, we're going to touch on Saratoga Springs. Make sure we get this for the month of May. And have this come up here. All right, so we're going to Saratoga Springs. Now, we're doing residential. Well, so we're not covering multifamilies and stuff like that. I do a report for that one, but that comes in a little bit in about a week or so. I'll touch up on this one. So here's what we got for the number of listings. Again, new listings right here. That's the green line that we're seeing on the bottom. New listings in Saratoga is following that trend. It's up 50 to 56. So we're seeing that going up. That's been going up ever since about December. So since pretty much the whole year here, it's been slightly going up with those new listings. The number of active listings jumped a little bit as well, too. It was 89.90, so only by one, not a huge change in that right there. But we do see that trending upwards a little bit. The new listings is the nice things. Well, we're really looking. These new properties coming out here is going up, which is good. Active listings right here are the listing prices. So this is the average sales price. We saw this. There was a big spike last month, as you can see right here, jumped up to 828 $1,000 for the average listing price right there. It did come back down a little bit lower than it was the previous month before, but it's down to about 640 for the average sales price in Saratoga. Absorption rate went up. We're a little over 2 months in Saratoga of inventory. So 2.25, just shy of that one here. And the list to sold ratio. So what we were at 99.7. So just below that 100% range in the list to sold ratio. This month, we're up to 102. So houses that are listing in Saratoga are generally getting a little bit more than what they're listing for. And that's the trend right now. And days on the market is dropping. So Saratoga seems to be getting pretty active as far as the number of the days on the market dropped by about a week. So that came down. So we know some people are in there putting some offers in. And the list sold ratio is being driven up, which means there's probably some competition for these houses in Saratoga right now. Good news for sellers and not necessarily bad news for buyers. Just make sure that everything's in your budget. But this is what we got here. When you're armed and you're equipped with the information, that's the best thing when you're going in and negotiating. That's what we try to do here is get you the knowledge that you need to go in so you're making a smart decision for yourself and your family and getting your dollar going. So we got year to date, some stuff down here. Median price is list price is up 20%, so a little bit under that. So pretty much the same as what we saw in conjunction with the entire capital region. So let's move on here. Let's check out our next location where we're going to go through here. Let's jump into Queensbury. We're set up on that right there. Pull this up. That's what we started with and didn't mean to. So, okay. So we're pulling those away. Here we go. Queensbury right now. In fact, these are crossing. So I'm going to take that out for right now. And we're just going to look at the active listings. Active listings dropped. They're down to 22 and it was 25 the month before. So it came down a little bit. New listings, though, here we go. We're seeing that trend still coming up. All right, there was 17 last month. There's 22 this month. And that listing prices, average sales price dropped down a little bit. It was 412 the previous month. It dropped down to 361. All right, and so that trend of going up for the last couple months is kind of corrected a little bit. And we come down here for the absorption rate has dropped to just over a month. It was 1.15 last month, and it's just over a month right now. And now the list of sold ratio. So previously at 93.7%, and now that jumped up to a 97.5%. So a little bit below 100% of what there's again. In days on the market, we've got 55 days on the market, jumped up from 40. So days on the market, they're hanging around a little bit longer in Queensbury. Let's take this out here and check our number of sold. So our solds are staying fairly consistent, 15, 15, 16. So the number of sales in that area is staying just about consistent for the Queensbury market. Moving on. Let's check out Albany. I'm going to bring this up right here. All right, Albany. Sold and pendings out of there. Let's just do our actives. So actives, they jumped up in Albany as well. 59 a month ago to 61. So jumped up a couple, but about the same. New listings. That new listings jumped up 71. So that made a jump by 10 this month. So pretty decent jump in there in the new listings. Average listing price, or the average sales price, I should say, big spike, as you can see this right here. It was at 243. It jumped up to 278. So it's quite a big jump there from last month to this month as far as the average sales price goes. With some new listings popping on the market. Sold listings. Here we go with the sold listings. So sales are up also to 56 up to 60. So there's a little bit of a jump in the number of sold. So a little bit more activity again over in there. Absorption rate went up to 0.83. So this is below a month here. We haven't seen that yet in our other two listings, but that's below a month. Sold to list ratio. Here we go. So it was at 101 last month, and it went up. As you can see, it went up to 103% of the sold to listing ratio. So generally, it looks like in the Albany area that if you are listing their home, you're getting more than what you're listing it for. So again, buyers, something to think about there. Days on the market dropped down, but not really much, about a half a day. So we're going to say it basically stayed the same for the Albany area. And let's come in here, switch it up. Lake George, here we come. All right. Pop these out here. New listings again. Here's the trend. It's going up. Went up quite a bit, actually. 7 new listings from this before. It had stayed. We haven't seen that since October. It's been kind of down here for the last couple months, and boom, we got a little spike about 7 up there in October. So, and then the number of active listings, though, that's staying about the same. Look at this. About 33, 32. So not much change in the number of active listings, but the new listings jumped up. So that's good to see right over here. So the average sales price did come down, but then look at this huge spike right here. It jumped from 500,000 to over a million, 1.25 million. So that tells me that either one big house really sold or a couple big houses had sold on the market to drive that up to 1.25, because we see a big correction to come back down to above where it was, but the correction comes down to 624,000 for the average sales price there. Absorption rate, that's coming down over here. There's 4.3 months of inventory, but this is the highest that we've seen in the area for the last couple of months. It's always been in that 4+ range, where the other ones are always floating around a month, maybe 2. I think we have one on 2, but Lake George has got, quite a long time for the absorption rate here as far as the inventory and the number of people selling it for. And the sold to list ratio is right at 100%. So people are getting what they're asking for in Lake George. So days on the market is dropping down. So it's getting a little bit more active. Wow, this came down quite a bit. It was 35, and now it's down to a week, 7.5. So the days on the market, things are moving up there right now for the Lake George area. So let's check out the number of solds. Let's get this out of our way. The number of sold, we had 7 last month. We had 2 this month. Right back down to normal. So not a lot of transactions going on in there, but they're getting what they're asking for. There's inventory, so it's good for buyers. There's options up there. And that's the Lake George region. So let's go in here and let's check out here. We got South Glens Falls. Take out some of these lines. We can see this all right. Okay, so let's first talk about the active listings. Came down a little bit from 13 to 11. New listings came down a little bit. I think that's about the first time we saw the new listings dropping down a little bit. That came down 1. Right over here, average sales price actually jumped up about 8,000, almost 9,000 for the average sales price. Solds came down quite a bit. It was 6 to only 2 houses sold in South Glens Falls last month. So right over here, though, inventory 5.5 was a month ago, and now we're looking at about a month. I'm sorry, 5.5. I said 1.5. I should say, sorry, and we got about 1.29. So about 1 month, 1.25 months over there. List sold ratio 105. 105. So they're getting over their asking price in South Glens Falls, and days on the market is dropping down over here too. Just under a week, so pretty similar to Lake George, and that number right there, it came down quite a bit. We got 2 more areas we're going to cover here. We're going to go to Glens Falls, right next to South Glens Falls. Go figure that one. And let's take this one out. Active listings coming down. We're down to 6 for active listings, but new listings, they're coming down too. So they went from 11 to 7. So that's kind of coming down as far as the inventory in the Glens Falls area. Listing price, our average sales price came down from just about 209 to 196, so dropped about 14,000 right there. Absorption rate came down. It's at about a half a month right now as far as inventory. But again, we're seeing the sold to list ratio going up to 97%. So it's getting closer to what they're asking for. It's not coming down much. Days on the market did jump up only a couple days right there, to about 3 days, 2-3 days over there. Moving on to our last spot. Clifton Park, right in the middle. Centrally located. It's a good spot. All right, so new listings. Look at this spike right here, the green line. New listings jumped up from 23 to I'm sorry, from 31 to 52. Quite a bunch. Oh, wow. A lot of new listings in Clifton Park. If that's an area that you're interested in, you're seeing some stuff pop in here. Active listings went from 36 down to 29. Listing price, the average sales price jumped about $17,000. So they're getting a pretty good price for it. Absorption rate came down a little bit. That dropped down to 0.79 month. List to sold ratio, it was at 104, so it was up there, people. Things were getting good buck in Clifton Park. It came down, but it's still over 100. 103.6% is what they're getting from the list to sold ratio. And days on the market has dropped down in this area, too, from 19, just over 19 to 12 and a half. So that's our market report. That's what we got right there. And again, we try to cover, some of the areas, some of the bigger areas and things like that in the capital region. If there's an area you're interested in, I didn't cover it again. Check me out below there. You can book an appointment with me or just reach out to me. Give me a call, send me a text, send me an email, whatever works best for you. Be more than happy to kind of do maybe your own little video or even meet and talk with you. We can do a Zoom meeting, something like that. So there's our market report. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to have the investors market report coming out in another week or two here. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give it a like. It goes a long way for me. And keep an eye out for some of these new videos coming out. So we will see you guys on the next video.